Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gaming with me, Tony Mo, and I'm here today because we're taking a look at a brand new, recently leaked Division gameplay trailer. You're going to notice that this trailer is actually in Italian because it is in fact the Italian trailer that has been leaked. There's no doubt that Ubisoft will be releasing their official trailer very soon. But I really wanted to take a look at this trailer, do sort of a rewind and breakdown of it, because there's a lot of stuff here that I've been really wanting to talk about regarding the Division, but simply hasn't been revealed by Ubisoft yet. Much of that is here inside of this video, inside of this trailer. This is probably one of the first trailers for the game that really shows off a lot of the game's different components that are going to be available to the player. Obviously, there's a lot of the game that's still under wraps, and I think Ubisoft wants to keep it that way, and I'm okay with that. I don't think everything should be spoiled. I think we've become way too into the idea of knowing everything about a game well before it launches. Obviously, it's good to know what the game looks like, performance, you know, how's it going to hold up, but when it comes to the story and some small hidden pieces, I like a really good surprise every now and then. Regardless of that, if you guys want to check out the full trailer for yourself in your own time, I will have it linked down in the description below. But we're going to go ahead and just rewind back to the beginning here, because right at the start of this trailer, there's already some important things that we can look at. Obviously, we're seeing a lot of different environments here. We're seeing a lot of the different enemies that you're going to run into, the different factions. We got the cleaners in the beginning there. And almost right at the beginning, we're going to get to see our very first look at what will probably be your base. Okay, so you can see right here we've got Sarah, one of the organizations that was probably around dealing with the cleanup, and I'm going to go ahead and pause it right here. Look at that big, wonderful, 3D virtually rendered infograph of your current base progress. This was one of my favorite things about the Division. I love the sort of future tech heads-up display. Some people feel like it's a little bit overwhelming, but I feel like it fits the game very well. Anyways, what we can see here is what apparently is some sort of a base restoration progress bar. We've got a number of upgrades that are available. It says 0 out of 30, 0% base restoration. Then we have 3 separate wings: medical wing, tech wing, and security wing. We'll see that they each have their own requirements, so completing a certain mission is going to allow you to unlock each of these wings. Let's go ahead and let this play a little bit further here. So you can see we're kind of getting a nice look at the base coming together. People are starting to inhabit it. We've got doctors showing up, children even. Go back just a little bit here. And we can see, once again, we've got some more heads-up display stuff all over the environment. Lots of clicky stuff all over the place. We've got a control room off to our right here. Over to the left of the player, we've got a supplies cache area with the tech wing, which is at 30%. Get some characters being introduced here that the player is going to interact with. And if we pause it one more time, now we can see the base restoration has gone up. We're looking at 46%. You can see we've got percentages in each of the different wings. We've got upgrade slots, 7 out of 10 for the security wing we can see there. You can see we also have a number of supplies for each of the different wings. So maybe there is a maximum number of supplies that you can have at any given time. We've even got a canine unit off to the right, off to the left here. And there's a Dalmatian off to the right hanging out by this guy's desk. Who knows if you can have dogs in this game? That's going to be really special. It was really funny. My brother and I were actually talking about the game, and one of the things that we both mentioned was the idea of pets. Having dogs, it just makes sense in this kind of environment. Not to mention, if you are working for some sort of a government faction, they would very much use canine units because of the benefits that are provided by a canine unit. So let's let that roll. High hopes for that. I would love to have my very own breed of canine to roam New York City with me. More locations here, a lot more locations, you know, a little bit of variety here. This also appears to be a new faction. Now, the only faction we've seen in trailers so far have been the Cleaners, which we're going to see later on in this video as well. These appear to be a different group, though. You can see we've even got a bounty for the Iceman. That's probably an individual. He seems to have his own set of lieutenants. So whether he's an individual within the Cleaners or a separate faction, we don't know for sure. I have no doubt that there will be more than one faction. The Cleaners aren't the only people, but we're also getting a prime example of one of the available mission types. Bounties do seem to be one of the missions that we're going to be able to do. We've seen some of the other missions in previous videos, you know, sort of capture and secure style stuff. So just another one added to the list there. Also, another close look at the heads-up display for those of you guys who haven't seen it. We're seeing some of the abilities that this guy currently has with his character build. He's even making use of a stun grenade there. A little bit of mini hand action grenade launcher. And we can see him picking up a blue weapon. So for those of you guys who aren't familiar with the way the weapons and the gear is going to work in the Division, we're kind of getting a nice little look at it here. Let's just kind of let this phase in a little bit more. This is a really nice view of the inventory screen. I was so stoked when this video came out because I'm like, man, I could just talk about everything in one video. Everything is right here. So we've got the DPS value for all of his weapons. You can see they are color coded, so we are going to have gray, blue, purple, you know, possibly orange for legendary. We get a good example of the fire rate, you know, the RPM, the amount of rounds per minute, the magazine size, the damage it's doing. We've got different statistics for accuracy, reload speed, range, and stability. We've even got talents that are going to be available on the higher higher rarity level weapons. The more rare a weapon is, I believe it's going to be blue and beyond that, we're going to start seeing talents that you can unlock that are going to give you bonuses for that weapon. We also have a good example of some of the other stats going on here for the character, their overall primary DPS, their health, their stamina, their skill power, and their electronics. Very nice, clean HUD. Really like what they've done with it. Everything we've seen from the HUD design for the Division so far, I think has been on point. Like I said, I really love what they're doing with it. It just feels very fluid. It looks really nice. I like the tech. A little bit of an example of some of the scope and attachment options available here. So he's already ready to kind of slap something on his ACR. We can see the modifiers he's going to get. He's got a 12x VX1. It's going to give him 1.5% headshot kill experience, 11.5% accuracy. You've got some other scopes down here. We've got a rugged mini flex, different levels on the scopes as well. Obviously, the higher level the equipment, the bigger the values you're going to get out of it. I also love too, like I mentioned when we talked about what the Division was, everything that we knew, that it was going to be a very RPG focused game as well, not just a shooter. And you can see that with all these bonus statistics we're looking at, and even the bonus experience from doing a skill shot. Love that, really love that. Got some more environmental highlights. I love seeing a lot of the new zones in the game, you know, kind of really taking us from one side to the other. We got the cleaner showing up again here, ready to set thing aflame. And what looks like our first glimpse at a safe zone, which does appear to be inhabited by, you know, a rather large group of players. These could be players within this guy's fire team, although there are well more than 4. So we can go ahead and probably assume that safe zones like this are also sort of social areas, much like we'd see with the Reef or the tower inside of Destiny. The ability to interact with other players, maybe make some new friends to head out and do some missions, and who knows, maybe we'll have multiples of these safe zones throughout the city. That would make sense. Kind of a nice resting place. Maybe you can go and sell your gear, pick up some new equipment, and like I said, hook up with some new friends to head out and explore New York City. Just a better look at it, you know, definitely some resistance going on here. We've got no cell phone use in this area. Take what you need. Obviously, you know, a place where people can come rest their weary souls and sort of regenerate, get back into the action. So now we got a glimpse, you know, they're definitely starting to focus at this point in the video, on the trailer, on the cooperative aspect of the game. We got what seems to be a whole group of friends, possibly real players, walking down the streets in New York City, all kitted out, ready to take on the next big threat. La Speranza. Here we have, let's stop and take a look at this. This is definitely some important information we got here regarding the contaminated zones. So Subway Morgue, they're obviously on some sort of a mission to reach the relay terminal, but they're also entering a contaminated zone. Now, you can see right there, it says required filter 1. Now, what I've been able to pull together from all the different trailers we watched is that each of the different contaminated zones have a required filter level. Now, the filter is inside of your gas mask that your character puts on their face when entering a contaminated zone. We don't really know how that's going to work, whether that's a level requirement. You have to have a certain level filter to go inside of a zone, otherwise that filter will start to degrade. A lot of speculation regarding that. We'll have to see how that system pans out once we get a full example of it. But we can note these guys are running in a 3-man squad. We've got 3 level 9 characters, it appears. We got Jason B, Nikita, and our main character here. So let's follow them into this rather devious and awful looking location.
Dobbiamo collaborare. Unire le nostre capacità.
So another encounter with the cleaners here. We're seeing a lot of the smaller tech, deployable mini turrets. We've got the Seeking grenade launcher, and looks like we got one of the big bad boys coming from the cleaners with that flamethrower. Our character here making use of healing grenade. Let's go ahead and take a look at that again real quick. So you can see we've got a healing grenade that he's actually able to launch. It seems that anyone caught in that area will gain healing benefits from that. And it looks like we also have another player popping up a pretty nice looking deployable shield. Maybe some Kevlar on that thing. Okay, this is something small I want to point out. I really dig this, right? I think one of the biggest things when you have a game like this that has a lot of different components going on, there's a lot of chaos, it's important that you do what you can visually without, you know, really corrupting the screen and putting too much stuff on screen, but to make sure that the other players without vocal communication can really understand what's going on with their friends. And you'll notice right here that it actually says this guy, our main character here, is on fire. And it does seem to have a sort of cooldown as the flame gets put out. You would hope that this isn't just available to be seen by the player who's on fire, but also members of his fire team. That way they can assess the situation, maybe pull aggro away from this guy, just do anything so he can get that fire put out without having to deal with any more flames coming off this big cleaner guy here. And more environmental stuff, we're seeing some more tech, possibly some more faction characters. Let's back it up just a little bit there and kind of get a nice little glimpse of this big open area here. I mean, you can really see what they're going for in terms of scale of the game. I can't imagine that all of these buildings are going to be enterable. That is definitely not the case, but it would seem that some of them are. From previous gameplay footage that we've seen, players are able to go inside some of these locations. Some of these locations will house some of the main story missions or the side quests. Some of them are just contaminated zones that you are welcome to go explore with one another and perhaps find some good loot. But really a beautiful looking game. There's no doubt it's been downscaled since we saw it a couple of years ago. You know, what can we do? Ubisoft has sworn to not do that kind of thing anymore. They're being honest. They're showing us what the game looks like. I still think the Snowdrop engine is incredible, and this is a stunning looking game. It looks really quite beautiful. It also does appear we are seeing this footage on the Xbox One. So here we go. We've got a whole smorgasbord of a nightmare going on here. You can see we've actually got multiple group members. We got a supply cache that is coming in, some sort of a mercy drop. We've got multiple friendlies that are down, and they are absolutely swarmed right now with enemies. So they are definitely in a difficult situation here. But this guy's going to go ahead and deploy what seems to be some uber heal mechanic, like freaking paladin mode over here. Look at this. We're going to see a couple green beams actually drop down on all of these guys, including himself. So he's going to res both of the down players, heal Eric behind the car here, and we're also going to see him heal himself. Obviously a higher level healing effect. Eric is 18. They're probably sitting somewhere around there. Again, that big emphasis on these RPG elements, you know, the game making use of its future tech, you know, suspension of disbelief, and getting an epic heal off. Love it, man.
Durante il tuo percorso troverai un posto al di là di queste mura. È la zona nera, un luogo di avidità e paura dove non ci si può affidare di nessuno.
Really trying to highlight and emphasis, you know, the world's in a bad place right now. Small glimpse of the dark zone at the end there. And of course the official release date, March 8th, 2016. Now the beta is supposed to be running sometime this month on the Xbox One and hopefully on the PC and the PlayStation 4 as well. We still have no confirmation whether or not that's going to be under NDA. I kind of feel like it is. Ubisoft is keeping a lot of things under wrap. However, I don't feel it's because they don't think the game is ready. They don't think it's complete. They're hiding something. I think they're just trying to keep things a bit of a surprise for the player, and I'm okay with that. I'm ready to be surprised. I love what I've seen in The Division so far. I can't wait till I can actually play it and talk about it with you guys. I hope you enjoyed this look at this trailer. Hopefully we'll get the full official trailer released very soon so we can understand what this poor woman is saying. She's been talking this whole time and we just haven't been listening. Regardless, a lot of awesome little pieces of information here. I think this is the trailer that a lot of people needed to see. I've had a lot of people coming to me, talking to me about The Division, saying, you know, just they haven't shown enough. They haven't shown enough, and I agree to some degree. You know, I think we needed to see things like the inventory system. People needed to get a better understanding of the scale of the game and how co-op works. I think this trailer very much addressed that. If you guys have any thoughts of your own regarding the trailer, any questions you'd like to ask me regarding The Division, feel free to throw them down in the comment section below. I cannot wait to start providing full, real coverage of this game when it launches in March. I hope you guys are looking forward to it as well. I'll see you in the next one.